Hello, this is 9-2, and today we're going to be looking at the first arc of Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger, titled Lap 1, Form the Boonboomgers. In this video, I'll both cover the episodes that reside within the arc, which are episodes 1 through 9, and the mecha that appear in this arc. I should have chapters in the description that describe what is when. The mecha review will be later on. Also, I won't be diving too much into the plot of these episodes. For one, I want to keep the story vague and give my opinion and review without explaining the plot too much. And also, the story just isn't that deep. While it does have a lot of story later on in this arc, the episodes are generally very episodic. They go by very quick, which isn't a bad thing. The choreography tends to do this as well. There's a lot of quick, cool moments with characters to show how strong they are, how cool they are, but then it jumps right back into the action. The quicker pacing helps to show out a lot because it makes the episodic nature of it not weigh as heavy. With how quick each episode feels, it keeps you glued to the action and the characters, which is really good because a lot of Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger relies on the Boonboomgers themselves and the characters around them. I'm going to be honest, Boonboomger, or at the very least Lab 1, is not a story-driven show. It is a character-driven show. A lot of the story is very basic. Four people are brought together by Taya to protect the world from an alien force known as Ashirian, who want to cause human stress and negativity to fuel themselves with something called gasoline. That's it. While there is some other stuff like backstories and the like, it all boils down to being character focused. To start with our de facto main character, Mira is the pink Boonboomger. We see a lot of stuff through her eyes, and we follow her throughout the majority of Lap 1. She's a very good grounded character, and she's known as the team's driver. This is pointed out way early on, as well as the fact that she does a lot of odd jobs around the city. She is our window into the show. In my opinion, if you don't like Mira, you're gonna struggle to enjoy Lap 1. While it doesn't entirely focus on her, a lot of the episodes centralize around her talking or interacting with other Boonboomgers. That's not a problem for me because I happen to really enjoy Mira. She's very grounded and very open, and it makes any scene with her seem very nice. She's also a part of the other half of the team that Taya kind of recruits later on, which is a good segue into talking about something before we get into Shiro, which is the division. Boonboomger's team is not all the same. Ignoring Taya, you have the four members of Mira, Joe, Ishiro, and Genba. Ishiro and Genba are associates of Taya prior to the show, people who work for him and trust him. Mira and Joe, on the other hand, are normal people who become Boonboomgers throughout the show. This makes interactions rather unique because Ishiro and Genba have a lot of faith in Taya, while Joe and Mira are still learning to trust and believe in him, so they're more honest. They're more open, while Ishiro and Genba keep more of their past as secrets. This leaves a lot of good moments with the characters. This divide is also a big part of Ashiro himself. Ashiro is Taya's right-hand man. He's his main associate. So therefore, he distrusts when Taya randomly brings on Mira and later Joe. This is because he sucks at communicating. He wants to trust them. He's a good-natured person, but there is something in his past that stops him from openly trusting people. Otherwise, he's genuinely a decent character when he has something to do, because a lot of the time he doesn't have anything to do. He focuses mainly as Taya's right-hand man, with a lot of people even making a joke that's common in the community about him and Taya being in a relationship. And I mean, I don't have any of it in this because I couldn't get any good screenshots of it, but if you see the way they look at each other, it's really funny. Such a big Taya fan. You should really watch that one. Check it out. But yeah, he's a really weird character for me. Now, one of my favorite character is Joe. Joe is a police officer who works in the same city as the Boonboomgers. He gets into hijinks for the first few episodes before he becomes the government's liaison to the Boonboomgers. I'll talk about that later. Later on, decides that he wants to protect the Boonboomgers, so he joins the team officially, becoming the team's certified policeman and using the Boon Boom axe with the Boon Boom booster to become Boon Black.
だからブンブンちゃんを俺が守る。そうきたか。 ガキだな。ブンブンテンチ。
Like Mira, Joe is very honest. He's very, you get what you see. This comes in contact later when Ishiro often doubts that Joe is as honest as he is, but that's just how Joe is. He's an honest person. He's an honest policeman who wants to do what's right. Even if he hadn't become Boone Black, I genuinely think that he'd still be fighting the Hashirians. He's very naive. He's very protective as well. With him being the first person to actually want to protect the Boonboomgers and protect Hero, something that's noted as out of the ordinary and brave. This is one of the reasons why Genba gives him the Boon Boon axe and the Boon Boon booster when Taya notices that he's getting explosive. Speaking of Genba, he's the fifth and final member of the team. Genba is known as a supplier, often bringing Taya and the team different items and devices they need for their delivery jobs. I'll get to that when I talk about Taya. Now, Genba is probably the hardest character to talk about right now, especially now in Lap 3 where you find out more of his backstory, but I'll do my best to not bring it up. For the first half of Lap 1, Genba just serves as the supplier, but later on he becomes Boon Orange in Episode 7, completing the team entirely.
持ってきたんだ。
私だ。私が君たちを加速させよう。共にブンブンジャーというハンドルを握って。
Out of the whole team and the whole cast, Genba is definitely the most mysterious in Lap 1. We know basically nothing about him except for the fact that he donates a lot to the groups around him and he supplies the whole city. He, like Ishiro, serves as a pre-series associate to the lead Taya. Speaking of Taya, he's cool. That's it. Not actually, but there's not a lot of character to him. He does cool stuff and he's very driven. He has a lot of focus on dreams and his delivery job, but he doesn't have a story. There's no revenge, there's no hatred for the Shirien, there's just wanting to do right by his friends. His delivery job, though, to go back to that, is something that drives a good part of him. To him, a delivery is worth any risk. A delivery is more than just dropping off a package. It's seeing the smile on that person's face. It's seeing how much good that package can bring them. A lot of the episodes of Boonboomger revolve around a delivery job. Delivering maybe a doll to a kid, or a bomb in a suitcase. It kind of always fluctuates. This does lead to a problem with him, though, where he takes on too much and overworks himself, sometimes even overworking his friends. This can lead to a good amount of drama, and it kind of helps lend itself to the idea that he's not a perfect leader. He's just trying to do good in the world. He's trying to get deliveries done. The Hashirian are just a side effect, they're just around. A big part of his character is trying to help deliver a friend's dream, and I can't get really into that, but one other story element that he does get is a rival in the form of Mad Rex.
ブーンレッツ。
てめえ名前はレッド。あんな熱いレース久々だったぜ。
But with Taya, that's our main cast. It's very solid in my opinion. Lap 1 really shows us how they interact and play off each other. The plot is kind of taking a back seat just to show how the characters interact with each other and interact with the world. I really like this team. I think they're really solid. I really like this Lap 1. I like how it shows them all interacting with each other, and I like how it actually shows them all forming together to make a good, solid team.
レッド。ブルー。
ピンク。
ブラック。オレンジ。
In terms of sidecast, we do have Bendorio, who is also the main mecha of the show. He's fun. He's cool. I won't really talk about him yet because you find out more about him in Lap 2. But just know I think he's really funny. I think he's decent. He serves his purpose. He's funny. He gets a good laugh out of me now and then, but he's a good mentorish character. Next is Shirabe Saibu, who works for a group called ISA, who's kind of the company liaison. She has a crush on Midoriya. She doesn't really do a whole lot, if I'm being honest. I still like her though, because she's funny. She and Midoriya are like a good comedy duo. But speaking of ISA, this series does something new and interesting with how the government is actually involved with the Boonboomgers, but not at the start. They seek them out and form a partnership with realizing how the Hashirians are a threat. I don't think a Sentai has done this before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I really like this little addition because it makes the world feel so much more alive. Also, this could just be a me thing, but I really like the three seaters of Decotrade, Atasha, and Yalkar. They're the main villains of Lap 1, creating the different monsters, the Kuramaju, and they're just really funny. They remind me a lot of Team Rocket from Pokemon.
やるか急になんだこんなこと初めてだろう
私にもわかんないでもやるちゃんかっこいい
うんおいけいけそこだとぶっ込めぶっ込め消えなきゃおいけいけいけ
While we're talking about the villains, I'll touch on the monsters themselves, the Kuramaju. They're created from an ignition key going in any item, say in a toilet, a dartboard, or a wedding dress. Once they die, the gasoline they leave behind can then be turned into a bigger monster by Yalkar absorbing it and then the others chasing them through a galactic highway. I won't really touch on this too much because it doesn't really come up and it's not really that important.
何すんのよ
These giant monsters are fought by the mecha of the series, the Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger. This mecha is formed when Midoriya turns big and fuses with two of the other Boon Boom cars, which I'll be going over right now. To start with is the most basic design, which is Boonboomger Robo. This has the Boom Boom trailer, which is very bulky, but it still is a somewhat sleek design. I like the little details on it. It looks really good for what it is. Could have been a lot bigger, could have been a lot more bulky, but I like it. Next up is the Boom Boom Off Road, which is a Shiro's vehicle Boom Blue. I like it. Very basic car. Like I don't really know what else you could have done with it. Next up is Boom Boom Wagon, which is Boom Pink's vehicle, which is Mira's. It's again very basic, very run of the mill car. Now we open this up to gate mode, which is done by opening a little top hatch. And then you're going to reach back and you're going to spread the sides of the car. This will later become the legs, but for now we'll just call it the sides. Spread those out. It'll take a sec, but then they'll pop out and they'll open like that. And it's kind of difficult when you do it for the first time, because it seems like you're breaking it, but you're not. And then we're all set up in gate mode. Now we're going to start with off-road. When off-road comes through, it opens up into the screwdriver sword attachment. And then we're going to go on to wagon. And when you slide wagon on through, it turns into the hand attachment. This is called their attack mode. Now, if you take a quick look at the pieces themselves, I really like how they open up. That's actually a really cool feature. I love the screwdriver being like a sword, quote unquote. Makes the tech theme and the gear theme stick out more. And I like the hand. It's kind of bulky, but not in a way that's really obnoxious. Now to start, we're going to flip down those legs again, but they're going to keep going in the way. So when you open them up, just keep pushing the full 180. We're going to pop the arms out of the sides of the legs. They're tucked away. Just pop them out. Then you're going to grab the legs and you're going to turn them. You're going to turn them around to face the front. From there, you're supposed to drop the hatches on the side of the legs. I already did that earlier. Now, the back little runway, it's tough to do, but you have to pop it out and just like break it in half basically and stick it out to the sides. And then for the head, you'll just stick it down, turn the little top piece, and then on the back, you can turn that piece around just to get out of the way. And then there is the very basic version of Bundurio. Now, off-road goes on the right arm. Took me all to remember how that worked without seeing a picture. And then the wagon goes on the right and the left arm. I give this a 7 out of 10. It's very basic, very run of the mill, but it doesn't really hurt and it's very clean aesthetically. I love it. Next up is Police Robo. I'm a big fan of Police like Mecha. They're my favorite. So this is automatically a win. I like these two patrol cars. That's Patrol Car 1 and that's Patrol Car 2. I like that they're both not just very like stocky, basic police cars. They actually put like a SWAT van and a patrol car, even though they're both called patrol car, but whatever, same difference. So when you slide through the first one, it pops open to reveal some spikes, and that will later become the head of the mecha. Now, when you slide through the van, or patrol car 2, sorry, patrol car 2, it becomes the front two things pop out, which will later become the guns. There it is. I like how they open up when you slide them through. It's kind of a unique gimmick. I don't think Sentai's done it before. If they have, let me know. And then the van it's kind of hard to see the difference because it's just like two things at the front. But yeah, it sticks out enough. All right, now that we have it up like this, you're gonna put the head entirely back, and now you're gonna slot the car. Well, first you're gonna bring down the head and the hat. They bend down a little bit. So this is how it looks when the head's down. I like it. The two side pieces I wish could just get tucked away somewhere, but they're fine. So you're gonna slot that in, kind of in like the neck area. It's kind of hard to see, but that forms the head, and then you can split apart the SWAT van. It's kind of difficult to do. The camera angle I did kind of sucks, so you can't really see it. But you pop out the top and the bottom, and then you'll turn the gun pieces, like the barrels, and then there's a little tab to pull out the handles. They're really hard, so I kind of pull them back and use my teeth. If you have fingernails and don't bite them like an idiot like I do, you can probably just use your hands. But while I'm working on this, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're not, or if there's something I could do better, please leave it in the comments below. But if you are enjoying, hit a like, let me know how you're doing. Like, let me know how you're enjoying the video. And, yeah, I'm really struggling on this part. I forgot how long this took me because these guns are very finicky. That's one thing holding this back from being a 10 out of 10 for me is that the guns, a part of the mecha, are very finicky and they're very loose, which is a problem with a lot of mecha weapons. Is that they can't make them absolutely fit into the mecha's hand because of toys and stuff, I guess. So getting them in is kind of difficult, and getting them to work is also difficult. But I figured it out. And once you saw them in both hands, eventually, maybe, see if past me can figure it out. Oh, I actually opened the legs. It's funny. Um, yeah, so you get both the guns in, have them stick them up, and that is the police robo. You can also put the guns down at the legs, which I think I do in a second. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. Again, the only thing holding it back are the guns being a bit too finicky. I wish they weren't. If they weren't, this would be up way higher. But because of the guns and because of how finicky and weird they are, it's just stuck at 9 out of 10 for me. Still a really good mecha, probably my favorite of the line. Next up is Boonboomger Robo Builder, which comes with this piece. This is very important for the mecha to work. It's also the most annoying piece I've ever had to deal with. I still struggle with it sometimes. But first up, we're going to look at Boom Boom Shovel, which is Genba's main mecha. It's yellow for some reason, not orange, but I'm not going to argue with it. It looks dope. It's clearly an excavator. Like, it's hard to mess that up, in my opinion. Next up is Boom Boom Dozer. Dozer is orange like Genba, but for some reason it's not his main mecha. Don't even get me started. But it still looks clean. Construction is kind of something Sentai does really well and really easily. But yeah, they're both little cool setups. Then next we got gate mode. First we're going to be docking in excavator. Slide that through. And you have that pop out. That'll come in handy later. It's kind of a new snapping system. Next up is dozer, which when you pop that out, it doesn't really, it's hard to notice the change in my opinion, but the shovel part just goes up. That'll come in handy later, I promise. So this is how they look. This is kind of a weird one. It's hard to know what it's doing until you actually start putting the mecha together. I don't really know what it's supposed to do, but Dozer just looks cool. Also in the show, the Dozer head shoots rockets when it's like that. I don't know why. It's never made sense to me personally, but you know, Sentai. Next up, we have it actually going on the mecha. So for the head this time, you need to make sure you have that piece and you make sure you slot it in. You can take out that little silver bit because it's just going to get in the way, which I think you'll see while I'm working on it. Yeah, it just falls out. I don't even grab it because it's just a really big headache and you don't need to concern yourself with it. Honestly, just take it out beforehand, leave it around. I still don't know what it does personally. If someone can tell me in the comments, that'd be awesome. But I don't know. So next up, once that piece is really in the center, I put the steel piece back in. You really shouldn't have. I'm gonna regret it in like a few seconds anyway, because it's gonna have to come out. So you're gonna want to bring up a little tab in there. You're gonna push it back up, and now we're starting with the first car. So the excavator, you have to bend that piece back, flip the head out. That's how it looks. Then you're gonna bring out the excavator arm, put it down as far as you can, and then you'll slowly flip over that yellow piece because the yellow piece is what attaches to the right shoulder. Your left, the mecha's right. Now the arm itself is supposed to attach and touch down at the like just above the hand. If you can't get it, it's fine. It's kind of not supposed to stay in place. But as you can already see, I have to take out some pieces. I have to move some stuff around. The mech is not really easy to understand, especially when you don't speak the language the manual comes in. But, you know, we figure it out. This isn't our first rodeo. So you slot in. We're going to try slotting in again. There it is. There it is without the silver piece. You're going to try slotting in the shoulder. Again, you're going to flip the head down so it stays out. You're going to attach the shovel arm as best as you can to the basic arm. Next up, we have the dozer into the hammer form. Kind of a thick hammer. I like it. It's very basic. That's why this is getting a 7 out of 10. Also, just for how confusing it is and how it doesn't really do too much. It slots in right with the main one. Next up is Boonboomger Robo Knight, starting off with Boom Boom Classic. This is based on a more classic retro car. I really like the design of it. It's probably my favorite so far. It's just beautiful looking. It kind of slots over the police ones for me, just because of the retro vibes and how it looks and what it becomes. This is Boom Boom Racing, which is Taya's main car. It's all right. It fits in with wagon and off road, where it's just a car. There's not much else you can do to a basic car. It doesn't really look like a race car either. It's kind of just a car with a bit of extra silver and black. Not my favorite by a long shot. But we're going to pop this in a gate mode with some nice little cuts. Now we're going to start off with classic. So when you slide that forward, it becomes the sword. I really like the sword design. Sometimes the little side pieces can get stuck or they won't go down all the way. You can just push them with your hands. Just be gentle. Next up is Boom Boom Racing. So when this slides out, it's not going to really make sense what it is. It kind of is in the same vein as Excavator, but it'll make sense later on. I promise. Looking at the sword, I really like how it looks. I like the shade of red they used. I like how it has the little silver bits around the red line in the center. And overall, it's just a dope sword. I really like what they did with it. They did their thing. It's awesome. Next up is the Boom Boom Racing. I think this looks cool when you figure out what it is, but right now it's kind of just a thing sticking out. Like it's hard to tell what it is. But now we're going to put it in mecha form. As you can tell, I kind of got sick of showing it, so I just started doing a lot of it off camera. Again, you're going to need to put that little black piece in the center. I'm going to probably show it to you when it's in, but you're going to put it in just like it was before. There you go, a little tap, tap, tap. It's right in there. Now, for this mecha, with Boom Boom Racing, we're going to start with that one. You need to reach down, pull out that silver bit, because that is the face. Doing this will bend the car in half. That's fine. It's supposed to. You'll turn the head to the side, and there you have it. That is the head and shoulder piece. This will slot right in on the left shoulder, and the front of the car that hung out when we first put it in attack mode is supposed to kind of be like a cape, sort of, on over that arm. And now we put the sword in the right hand, and that's Boonboomger Robo Knight. It's an 8 out of 10 because it's right between the police and the first two for me. It's kind of cool. I like it a lot. I like the episode it debuts in, but otherwise it doesn't do anything too special. And that's all four. Overall, Lap 1 is just a really good, solid start to the show. Part of me wishes it had more plot to it, but I'm also glad that we get to spend more time with the characters themselves and how they work together first. It's a good introduction to the show, and it definitely will tell you if you want to keep watching or not. So for this first review of Boonboomger, I'd say I'd give it 7 Boom Booms out of 10. I definitely recommend it, but I think if you watch it and you don't like it by episode 9, you're not going to like it. Might not be for you. So thank you for watching, and let me know what your favorite character from Boonboomger is. I want to see if I'm the only Joe fan, or if Ichiro has some secret large fan base that I'm just not shown. Also, if you guys want to recommend any shows you want me to review in the comments, feel free to do that as well. I'll probably keep this sort of method of reviewing individual arcs throughout the show, just because I think that's a clean way of doing it. But I'll probably make playlists as well to help organize the different arcs and different shows. So I'll probably be covering a lot. If you like Tokusatsu stuff, One Piece stuff, I'll probably be talking about One Piece and Digimon soon. Feel free to boom that subscribe button and tire spin that like button. And now that I've done the end of a YouTube video checklist, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow, and I'll see you next time. Peace.